Hey everyone, if you've noticed your grocery bill creeping higher and higher lately, buckle up, because things are about to get even more expensive. That's right, April 2025 is shaping up to deliver one of the biggest jumps in food prices we've seen in years. According to the latest reports, grocery costs will rise by another 7.2% next month. And here's the kicker. Certain items are going to see massive price hikes that could have some major implications on your budget. After poring over market data and insider forecasts, I've found the top 11 grocery items that are set to skyrocket in price. These are things most of us grab every week without a second thought, and the increases could leave you spending hundreds more before you even realize it. Why are prices spiking so dramatically? Well, we've got a combination of supply chain complications, production costs, and even climate challenges hitting all at once. But don't worry, I'm not just here to share bad news. Stick around because I'll also give you some simple strategies to beat this price surge and keep your grocery bill under control. Grab a notebook, hit that like button, and let's jump into it. 11 million. All right, coffee lovers, brace yourselves because your daily cup is about to cost a lot more starting in April. Yep, your morning brew is the 11th item on this list of skyrocketing grocery prices, and trust me, this one's gonna sting. Imagine walking into the store and seeing your go-to coffee brand suddenly 20% more expensive. Sounds painful, right? Well, that's exactly what's coming. Here's the deal. Brazil, which produces about a third of the world's coffee, is in the middle of its worst drought in nearly 6 decades. I'm talking about rainfall levels being 64% below normal in key coffee-growing regions. That means coffee plants are literally drying up in the fields. One importer I spoke to said entire harvests are failing as we speak. To make matters worse, a recent report by the International Coffee Organization revealed a 31% drop in Arabica production, while global coffee demand keeps climbing by over 4%, fueled by an explosion of coffee drinkers in places like China and India. What does this mean for you? Well, if you're buying premium coffee, expect that price tag to jump significantly. The bag that costs you about $10 today? Get ready to pay $12 or more. And if you think sticking to the cheaper brands will save you, think again. Even your budget options are looking at a hike from $8 to nearly $10. But don't worry, I've got some hacks to help you survive these price hikes. For starters, consider switching to blends with more Robusta beans. They're stronger, pack more caffeine, and here's the best part, they're up to 40% cheaper since they're not facing the same drought issues as Arabica beans. Coffee subscription services are another great trick. A lot of them locked in prices months back and are running promotions right now to help you save. And if you really want to be ahead of the curve, try mixing your coffee with trendy extenders like chicory root or dandelion blends. Not only do they stretch your coffee supply, they're also packed with health benefits. The reality is these price jumps aren't going anywhere anytime soon, so now's the time to stock up or rethink your coffee routine before April hits. 10. All right, olive oil lovers, this one's gonna hurt. That beautiful bottle of extra virgin olive oil you splurged on last month? Get ready for some sticker shock because olive oil is about to see one of the most jaw-dropping price hikes in your entire kitchen. We're talking a staggering 32% jump this April. Yep. Olive oil is officially number 10 on our list of grocery items that will cost you a fortune next month. Here's what's happening. Across the Mediterranean, extreme heat waves have completely wrecked this year's olive harvest. Spain, which produces about 40% of the world's olive oil, saw their production get slashed nearly in half. Spoke to a friend who just got back from her family's olive farm in Greece, and she said it was heartbreaking. Some olives literally baked on the trees from the intense heat before they could even be picked. Farmers in Italy and Greece are facing the same struggles. One farmer even said, "In 30 years, I've never seen anything like this." And how will this impact your wallet? That premium olive oil that costs around $15 today? Expect to pay closer to $20 next month. And don't be surprised if your favorite brands start switching to smaller bottles to disguise the spike. Sneaky, right? But don't panic just yet, because I've got some tips to help you save. First tip, reserve your high-quality olive oil for finishing dishes. Use it where you'll really taste the flavor, like drizzling over salads or dipping bread. For everyday cooking, switch to blends that mix olive oil with grapeseed or sunflower oils. These are about 40% cheaper and still work great for cooking. Another pro move? Check out Mediterranean restaurant suppliers who sell olive oil in bulk. Their prices often lag behind retail stores, meaning you can stock up before costs skyrocket. Or consider trying avocado oil, which is actually getting cheaper and has similar healthy fats. Whatever you do, if olive oil is a staple in your kitchen like it is in mine, grab a bottle or two now before April sends prices through the roof. You'll thank yourself later. 9. All right, bread lovers, we need to talk about what's happening to bread prices, and spoiler alert, it's not good news for your budget. Bread has officially taken the 9th spot on our list of grocery items that are about to jump in price next month, and the numbers are pretty shocking. Starting in April, you'll be shelling out about 16% more for your daily loaf. To put it in perspective, that $3.50 loaf you grab every week, it's about to cost you over $4 the tin, basically a price hike overnight. But why is this happening, you ask? Well, I've looked into the latest USDA Wheat Outlook report, and the situation is grim. Global wheat reserves have dropped to their lowest point in 15 years. Russia and Ukraine, two of the world's biggest wheat exporters, together producing nearly 30% of the global supply, are still dealing with massive production issues. Ukraine, for example, lost over 22% of its wheat fields last season due to extreme weather. And then you've got transportation costs, which are through the roof. Fuel prices for those giant ships carrying grain have doubled in just 6 months, pushing up transportation costs by 28%. Add it all up, and you're paying a lot more for your bread. Here's something to keep in mind. Fancy artisan breads and that beloved sourdough, they're going to see even bigger jumps, with prices climbing up to 24%. That loaf you treat yourself to might start feeling like a luxury. But don't panic just yet, because I've got some tips you can start using today to keep bread in your budget. First, head to your bakery's day-old bread section. Trust me, you can save 40% to 50% here, and the bread is totally fine for toast or recipes like French toast. Another great move? Shop at discount grocery stores like Aldi or Grocery Outlet, where bread prices are consistently lower. We're talking up to 30% less than bigger chains. And here's a fun idea that's been a game changer for my family. Make your own bread at home. Before you scroll past, hear me out. You don't need to be a baking pro. No need, bread recipes are super easy, cost less than $1 per loaf, and they're great for family bond. Plus, kids love helping out, and the smell of fresh bread? Amazing. If things get really tight, remember that local food banks often stock bread and essentials, knowing price hikes like this are coming. Look, this increase won't last forever, but for now, being smart about where and how you buy your bread is going to make all the difference. Stay prepared, and your wallet will thank you. 8. Fresh veggie lovers, I've got some startling news that's going to change the way you shop in April. Fresh vegetables have landed at number 8 on the list of grocery items with massive price hikes, and it's not looking good for your wallet. Some of the most popular picks like lettuce, tomatoes, and bell peppers are about to jump in price by a jaw-dropping 27%. Yes, you heard that right. That head of romaine lettuce you paid $2.49 for last week? Get ready to drop over $3.20 on it starting next month. Why such a steep increase? Well, when you hear the reasons, it all starts to make sense. First up, California, which grows about 65% of America's fresh produce, is in an ongoing water crisis. The State Water Resources Board just announced that water allocations to farmers are slashed down to 35% of normal levels. Less water means fewer crops, which of course results in higher prices. But that's not all. Getting those vegetables from farms to your grocery store is costing way more, thanks to an 18% jump in diesel prices for transportation trucks over just a few months. And if that wasn't enough, extreme weather like the unexpected cold snaps in Florida and Texas earlier this year destroyed nearly 40% of early spring vegetable crops. I even asked my local grocery store manager what to expect, and they confirmed it. Fewer veggies, higher prices, no way around it. Don't panic though. I've got some game-changing tips to help you keep vegetables on your plate without breaking the bank. For starters, consider switching to frozen vegetables. Did you know they're flash frozen at peak ripeness, which means they retain 90 to 95% of their nutrients? Plus, they're 30 to 40% cheaper. I've been using frozen broccoli, spinach, and peas in stir-fries, soups, and casseroles, and honestly, my family hasn't noticed a difference. If frozen isn't your vibe and you still want fresh, consider joining a community-supported agriculture (CSA) program. These local farm subscriptions have only gone up about 5 to 8% compared to supermarket prices and offer fresher, tastier veggies. Trust me, now's the time to rethink your vegetable game before these price hikes hit hard. Your future self will thank you for it. 7. All right, friends, let's chat about an ingredient we all use but probably don't think about much until it's time to restock the pantry. Cooking oils. Not just olive oil, which has been making headlines lately, but the everyday staples like canola, sunflower, peanut, and even avocado oil. These are the go-to kitchen heroes we rely on every day, and trust me, they're about to get a lot pricier. If you've noticed the prices creeping up on these lately, you're not imagining it. They're quietly becoming another pantry staple that's putting pressure on your wallet. Why the jump? It's a mix of unfortunate global factors. First up, climate change is wreaking havoc on major oil-producing nations like Argentina, Ukraine, and parts of Southeast Asia. We're talking extreme droughts in some places and unexpected flooding in others, which means lower yields for oils like sunflower, canola, and palm. Less supply with the same level of demand? You guessed it, higher prices. And it doesn't stop there. Tariffs and ongoing trade tensions have made importing these oils into the U.S. more expensive. Add in rising fuel costs and increased packaging prices, and by the time your bottle of oil makes its way to the store shelf, it's picked up quite a few extra costs along the way. Some of these oils have nearly doubled in price over the past year, and analysts are predicting another sharp increase in April 2025, especially for refined oils like sunflower and canola. But don't panic, I've got some hacks to help you stay ahead of the curve. Start considering avocado oil as your go-to. It's a bit pricier than some, but its high smoke point, clean flavor, and heart-healthy fats make it a great all-around pick. Plus, it's shelf-stable so you can stock up without worrying about it going bad. Canola oil remains an affordable option, but if you care about non-GMO ingredients, look for that label. Peanut oil is perfect for frying, though keep those allergies in mind. For long-term savings, keep an eye on sales, buy in bulk, and store your oils in cool, dark places to extend their shelf life. Did you know some oils, like avocado or coconut oil, can even be frozen in small portions for future use? That's a major money-saving move right there. The key here is planning ahead. Take a quick inventory of your pantry before April hits, and these price hikes become reality. A little smart shopping now could save you a lot of money and stress later. And hey, who doesn't want to make every meal just a little easier on the budget? All right, friends, we've reached number 6, and it's one that's going to hit your breakfast table hard. Eggs. Yep, those little protein-packed essentials are about to cost you a lot more. Starting April 2025, eggs are expected to spike by a jaw-dropping 24%. That carton you're buying now for $3.89, get ready to pay nearly $5 next month. And if you're wondering why, buckle up, because it's a perfect storm of bad news for the egg market. First, we're in the middle of one of the worst bird flu outbreaks in years. Just last month, over 5 million laying hens were affected, mostly in Iowa and Ohio, which are two major egg-producing states. That's a massive number of eggs that won't even make it to store shelves. And when supply drops like this, prices climb fast. But that's not the only problem. Feed costs for chickens are skyrocketing. Corn prices have jumped 18% this quarter, and since that's what chickens eat, farmers are seeing their production costs double. My cousin, who runs a small egg farm, says he's never seen expenses stack up like this before. But wait, here's the silver lining. Organic eggs, believe it or not, might actually be your better buy soon. They're only expected to rise about 10% because organic farmers locked in their feed prices earlier. That means the price gap between regular and organic is shrinking, making that upgrade a little less painful. What can you do to cope? If you're using eggs mostly for baking, try switching to liquid egg substitutes. They're holding steady in price. Or experiment with plant-based options like Just Egg, which recently dropped prices by 15%. Another hack? Check your local farmers market. Small-scale producers aren't dealing with the same massive cost increases, and you might find eggs for $1 less per dozen. And here's a pro tip to make the most of every egg you buy. Hard boil them if they're approaching expiration. They'll last an extra week in the fridge. Also, skip the best buy date. Panic. Do the float test instead. Place an egg in water. If it sinks, it's still good to go. Stay smart, and your wallet and breakfast will thank you. All right, dairy lovers, brace yourselves, because number 5 on our list is hitting where it hurts the most. Milk, cheese, butter, yogurt, basically everything creamy and delicious. Starting April 2025, dairy products are set to climb by a hefty 15%. That gallon of milk you're grabbing for $4.50 today, get ready to pay $5.20 next month. Now, why are your fridge staples suddenly costing so much more? I dug into the details, and folks, it's not looking pretty. It all starts with the feed crisis. Dairy farmers everywhere are struggling to stay afloat as feed costs skyrocket. One Wisconsin farmer shared that his corn feed expenses jumped from $12,000 to an eye-watering $25,000 a month. And he's not even running a huge operation. This isn't a fluke. The USDA says this perfect storm is impacting farmers nationwide, but feed isn't the only issue. There's also a massive labor shortage hitting dairy processing plants. With staffing levels at just 68% capacity, even wage hikes of 22% haven't been enough to fill those empty positions. And then there's refrigeration, which is absolutely critical for dairy. Rising energy costs have pushed electricity rates up by 17% in major dairy-producing states, causing more pain for producers, and you, the consumer. But not all dairy products are shooting up at the same rate, which brings me to some good news. Hard cheeses like cheddar and Parmesan are expected to see smaller increases of about 9%, since they're easier to store and transport. That's a savings opportunity, so stock up on your favorite blocks. Looking to save even more? Switch to store-brand milk and dairy. Consumer Reports found that store-brand milk often scores just as high in quality as name brands, but it's 30% to 40% cheaper. You can also buy cheese in blocks instead of pre-shredded to cut costs by 25% per ounce. Plus, you'll skip the added anti-caking agents, making it melt even better. If you're open-minded, consider plant-based alternatives. Oat milk prices haven't been hit as hard since oats didn't face the same crop issues as corn. And if you shop smart, you can snag even more deals. Midweek shopping is key. Local stores often mark down dairy nearing its expiration date on Tuesdays, making Wednesday morning a goldmine for discount. Why pay full price when you can score up to 50% off? The takeaway? Dairy is about to get pricier, but with a little planning, you can keep your fridge stocked without breaking your budget. All right, citrus fans, we need to talk. At number 4 on the list of grocery items set to skyrocket, oranges, lemons, and limes are heading for a major price hike in April 2025. These sunny staples are expected to shoot up by a whopping 22%. Right now, you might snag a bag of oranges for about $5, but in just a few weeks, that same bag will set you back over $6. And those handy little nets of limes you grab for $3.99 say hello to a nearly $5 price tag. But why's this happening? Well, things are looking grim in Florida's citrus groves. According to their latest agricultural report, they're facing their smallest harvest in 75 years. One of the main culprits? A devastating disease called citrus greening. Think of it as a silent killer for orange and lime trees. It essentially blocks nutrients from flowing through the tree, slowly starving it. And here's the heartbreaking part. Once a tree is infected, there's no saving it. Over 80% of Florida's orange groves are impacted. If that wasn't enough, last fall's Hurricane Lorenzo tore through the state, smashing countless citrus crops that were just starting to recover. I even read an interview with a farmer who's been in the business for over 40 years. He said he's never seen conditions this bad. It's tough times, and those price hikes are heading straight for your wallet. But don't worry, I've got some budget-friendly hacks to help you out. First, consider switching to frozen, concentrated orange juice. It's made from last season's harvest, so prices won't jump as dramatically. And here's a fun fact from a food chemistry study I came across. It retains almost 90% of the vitamin C found in fresh oranges. Another idea? Choose fruits that are in season this spring. Strawberries will be at their peak in April, with prices expected to drop by about 15%. Apples and bananas are also solid, affordable options since they're less affected by these challenges. One more tip for you. Freeze your own citrus juices. Pour lemon or lime juice into ice cube trays. My neighbor swears by this trick. 1 cube equals about half a lemon, and it's perfect for cooking whenever you need it. Don't wait until prices climb higher. Start planning your citrus strategy now. 3. If you've noticed that feeding your family is getting more expensive, you're not alone. One food category that's expected to hit wallets hard this April 2025 is chicken. Yup, the go-to protein for many households could become significantly pricier. But don't panic just yet. There are ways to stay ahead of these price hikes and still serve up delicious meals without blowing your budget. Let's get into it. First, why is chicken getting more expensive? Factors like increased feed costs, transportation challenges, and higher demand are putting upward pressure on prices. While we can't control these market forces, we can control how we shop, cook, and store our chicken to save money in the long run. One smart move is to buy chicken in bulk when it's on sale. Instead of grabbing just one pack of chicken breasts, consider picking up an entire family pack or even whole chickens. The cost per pound is usually much lower, and you can portion it out into meal-sized packages to freeze for later. Pro tip, if you have a vacuum sealer, use it. Vacuum sealing your chicken not only prevents freezer burn, but also extends its shelf life significantly. Speaking of whole chickens, don't underestimate the value they provide. Unlike boneless, skinless breasts, which tend to be the most expensive cut, whole chickens offer multiple meals for a fraction of the cost. Roast it for dinner one night, shred the leftovers for tacos or casseroles the next, and use the carcass to make a hearty homemade chicken stock. This nose-to-tail approach not only stretches your dollar, but also minimizes food waste. Creativity in the kitchen can also help you adapt to rising costs. Swap out pricier chicken cuts for budget-friendly options like drumsticks, thighs, or wings. These cuts are flavorful, versatile, and often more forgiving to cook. Pair them with pantry staples like beans, rice, or roasted vegetables to create filling, satisfying meals that don't break the bank. The bottom line? Rising chicken prices don't have to leave you scrambling. By shopping smart, freezing strategically, and thinking outside the box, you can keep this essential protein on your menu without draining your wallet. Remember, preparation is key when prices are on the move. Your future self will thank you. 2. Have you noticed your grocery bills creeping higher and higher? Well, hold on to your shopping lists because in April 2025, certain grocery items are predicted to skyrocket in price, and canned goods are right near the top of that list. Here's why, and more importantly, how you can outsmart these price hikes while still stocking your pantry. Canned foods have been kitchen staples for decades. They're convenient, long-lasting, and versatile. But get ready to see those shelves hit with sticker shock. Rising metal prices are impacting the cost of aluminum and steel production, which are key materials for those trusty cans we rely on. That extra cost is getting passed down to us, the shoppers. But don't worry, there are ways to keep your budget under control. Here's a quick experiment to try at home, a blind taste test. I recently lined up store brand and name brand canned corn for my kids, and guess what? They couldn't tell the difference. Dollar for dollar, going for the store brands can save you big while still delivering the same quality and taste. And don't sleep on discount grocery outlets either. These treasure troves often sell excess inventory at prices 30% to 40% lower than your usual grocery store. Just last month, I scored organic canned beans for only $0.89 each. A total win for my meal planning. The silver lining is that analysts predict these metal price hikes could stabilize by late summer. But until then, this is your chance to shop smarter, not harder. Pay attention to sales, consider buying in bulk, and keep an eye out for local deals. With a bit of effort, you can still fill your pantry without draining your wallet. Make no mistake, the prices of canned goods might rise, but your creativity in shopping can rise even higher. Stay tuned for more tips on navigating these grocery price increases, and remember, a little strategizing goes a long way toward keeping your budget healthy. All right, everyone, let's wrap up our countdown with the number one item on the list, and it's one you probably have on your breakfast table right now: oats. Yup, the good old oatmeal we all know and love is about to get a lot more expensive. We're looking at price increases of up to 20% starting this April. But why is your favorite budget-friendly breakfast suddenly burning a hole in your wallet? Well, it's a bit of a storm brewing in oat fields across the US and Canada, and I've got all the details. Here's what's going on. Oat harvests, particularly in Canada's key growing region of Saskatchewan, were hit hard by unfavorable weather last year. Farmers dealt with dry spells during crucial growing periods, which led to lighter, lower-quality oat harvests. Some oats were even too dry to mill properly, causing big supply issues. To put it into perspective, Canadian oat stocks for 2024-25 were reported at around 376,000 tons. That's dangerously close to record lows. And experts warn that unless there's a major increase in oat cultivation soon, supplies could stay critically tight for the next few years. For us, the consumers, this means higher prices at the grocery store. That jumbo bag of oats you've been buying for $3? You could be paying closer to $3.60, and that extra expense adds up over time. But don't worry, I've got you covered with tips to work around this. First up, think outside the oats. There are plenty of alternative grains you can use to switch things up in your diet. Quinoa, barley, and rye make fantastic substitutes with similar nutritional benefits. Try whipping up a quinoa breakfast bowl or using barley for a hearty porridge. You'll barely notice the difference. Another great tip? Keep an eye out for sales and stock up when prices dip. Oats have a long shelf life, so buying in bulk now can save you big later. And don't forget to explore store brands, which are often just as good as name brands but way cheaper. Remember, staying informed and flexible is your best defense against these price hikes. Think of it as a chance to experiment and expand your pantry. With a little planning and some creativity, you can tackle these rising costs and keep your budget intact. Don't wait until April hits. Start planning your oats strategy today. By staying proactive and making smart purchasing decisions now, you can soften the impact of these upcoming price hikes. Stock up on essentials, shop strategically, and stay open to trying alternatives. With a little preparation and flexibility, you'll be well equipped to weather the changes and keep your grocery budget in check.